Welcome to the Daily B Show with Maddie B and Annie Lewis. Woo, episode 84, double header today. My hair is a mess, guys. I've been hanging out to chat to Annie as well. It's like after speaking to Sam a couple of times on the show and obviously off the show as well, and to his dad and just really getting to know their family. It's been a really really great opportunity to really connect with some amazing people, and Annie's no exception to the rule. So we've had a really good chat the other day and sharing some of her wisdom with you guys, and just seeing where it goes. So she's been a yoga instructor for many years. She's very self-aware and just an absolutely beautiful soul. So I'm really keen to get her on the show and have a bit of a chat and see where we go with it. Hello.
Hi, let me just plug you in. Now I don't know where the thing is. Hang on.
Oh, good.
Okay. Hi.
All right. Hi. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, good. Just this is the first time I've done something like this. So other than being, there you go. Look, it's not happening. Oh, yeah, there it is.
There we go. Lovely. So
Yeah.
to kick off, for those that haven't seen you before, because obviously this is a world first exclusive premiere, share a little bit about who you are and where you're at the moment and what you're doing with yourself.
Well, I think that I heard you talk about Sam, my son, and then John, my ex, who's really my best friend. Look, I've been basically all my life been working with yoga, with meditation, with spiritual healing, with all sorts of things. At the moment, what I've done yoga teacher training and all that sort of stuff, and I've written a book, and basically I'm a long-term meditator. I meditate a couple of days. And not like John, my ex, who meditates 10 hours a day. Yeah. Well, basically, that's one of the reasons why I went together, because he's a wonderful man, but he couldn't take the rubbish out, so because he was meditating all the time. I don't know whether he's gonna agree with that, because he probably did take the rubbish out, but metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
it.
Anyway,
beautiful.
so like situations, like all these labels, I can't stand them, but just to sort of make it tangible, I'm a life energy coach, and when I do one-on-one sessions, it's basically everything around the ego, really. Like, how do we deal with our ego? What do we do? How do we touch upon who we really are, and all those sorts of things. And I work with tools to, help people to actually do that. Again, it's one thing talking about it, but it's and going to workshops and listening and having great conversations, which is really helpful. But how do we do it? How do we go within? How do we open our hearts? And basically that's what I do, is I teach people tools and support them in doing that. And whether it's corporate situations, whether it's CEOs, whether it's individuals that are, like that want to succeed or have more success in life, so-called, or whether it's drug addicts that want to get off drugs, all sorts of people.
Yeah, beautiful. That's wonderful. Can you explain what an energy healer is and what that, explain that to people as well?
Yeah. Well, look, how I started off when I was teaching yoga, and I was teaching a lot of yoga, and I was meditating at the time. And I just sort of all these things started happening in the yoga class, all this healing came up and all this energy. And, just like a lot of people's stories, most of the things came to me through, something really hitting me hard on the head, like the universe sort of going, right, like really hard hits, child dying and things like that, like just basically being brought down to my knees, and then which forces you to go deeper, and then you start to open up, and then there's an awareness that comes. And I just
Yeah,
sort of found that
definitely.
there was all this energy everywhere, and I could see energy, and I didn't take any notice of it, but people would come up to me and say, wow, I've had a bad back for 20 years and it's gone. You just put my hands on me, and I just go, oh yeah, whatever. And
Yeah, wow. So just took it for
still,
granted almost as well.
yeah, yeah, like I still say whatever, because my feeling is that anybody can do this. It's just that I meditate and you don't. That's all. Anybody can tap into it, and that's what my passion is. And then some people ask me to do one-on-one sessions, and I went, oh, I don't like doing one-on-one. I like group dynamics because the group's a lot easier. Like
Yeah,
one-to-one is actually more focused, more concentrated,
yeah,
work.
definitely.
And then I just started, I developed, I obviously studied Reiki 1, 2, and 3 and did courses, but all the courses that I did were absolutely useless in comparison to suffering and then meditating and going deeper as a result of my suffering.
Yeah, wow. Can can you
Yeah.
demystify energy for us as well? Because I think that a lot of people that haven't even started meditating or gone down that road, there's still that lack of clarity around that it is not mystical and woo-woo, but it's actually a very tangible, literal thing. So can you sort of put into your words how to demystify that for people?
Look, absolutely. Like people do make it complicated, and there's like, when we studied yoga, we call it prana, and we access energy through pranayama, which is breath control. And there's volumes and volumes and volumes written on it, and it can be actually like mind blowing. And yeah, it's almost like it's mystical. And it's not, it's energy basically. Everything in the universe is energy. We're all energy. The floor's energy, the ants are energy. All our thoughts and emotions are energy. Our bodies are made up of energy. We're basically energy light beings, most of us, or we all are.
We
And
are.
to me, it's like it's correctly just breathing. Like, when in yoga, we teach people, and I teach people, if you breathe in and out of your nose and correctly and expand as you breathe in and breathe into your heart, and you start, that's it. Just put your attention to universal
Uh,
life
it's
force,
just
and you
cutting in and
are.
out a little bit, and it's just cutting in and out a bit. Can you just repeat
Okay,
that again?
okay. Maybe because I lost half an ear or one ear. Is that better?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not you. It's just the internet just chopped and changed a little bit. But we got you.
Is that better?
It's perfect.
Is that better?
It's always perfect. It's always
Okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Well, it is. It is.
perfect.
That's the first thing to not judging and having true compassion is just seeing the perfection in everything. Even in all the disaster or shit or so called. So capping back, um, energy is available to us through correct breathing. Like if we really want to tap into it, there are techniques, there's ways of doing things, and it's not hard, but it does need to be done correctly. A lot of people go, yeah, well, like there's energy everywhere, we're energy beings, and we're this, that, and the other. And you look at them and you go, well, I can't see the life force in you. Where is it? Where's your life force? Okay, so you're aware of it, you know it, but how do you get in touch with it? How do you have this? And when you have this life force in you, your vibration expands, and then you attract high vibrational things in your life, like people like you, or things just happen. So basically, energy can be, it's a focus. If your mind is scattered and you're stressed, how can the universe know where to go? You're
Yeah,
thinking a million things at the same time, and it's like, well, which most of us do. So when you're
yeah,
able to become one pointed, mindful, this, key word of today, mindfulness, mindful, be in the moment, and all of your focus is just on the breath and breathe. That's it. That's energy. You're in touch with it.
It's almost too easy, isn't it?
Well, once you understand it, it's all very simple.
So we've got a question: is that how to enter the vortex through the breathing? Yeah.
Yeah. Look, it's facilitated through the breath and your attention. Like even, I mean, I don't know too much about physics, but I understand that physics, nothing in the universe would exist unless you place attention to it. So as soon as you place attention to it, it becomes alive. It exists. That's it.
Yeah.
So if you know without doubt, but see, you've got to get all the bullshit out of the way. We call it in yoga the monkey mind. The monkey mind, it's obvious, isn't it? Stop feeding the monkeys bananas and just be a little bit more. You'll find that you can with to wherever you choose.
Yeah, definitely.
And tap into the universal energy.
Yeah. What sort of meditative practices, or what do you sort of suggest for people that haven't gone down this route and are just sort of seeking some more answers? They know that there's something else out there because they're not quite fulfilled. What do you suggest to them to just start this journey and start this process?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I wrote this book. Like just a little bit of for about 20, 30 years. Look, I've lost time. Time to me just probably about 25 years ago.
Yeah.
I started doing workshops on these rites, and they are as a series of ancient exercises. They're typically yogic, but a little bit different, that open up the chakras and work with releasing stress and tension. So, we've got the physical body, we've got the energetic body, we've got the astral body, we've got the emotional body, we've got the mental body, we've got all these spiritual bodies. So if you do this technique, and it's a very simple exercise, but you need to do it regularly. Discipline is the key. If you do it every day, and it initially only takes 5 minutes a day, that's the key to life, is discipline. And what it does is it removes all the blockages, emotional blockages, and it helps to still the mind. So you do these physical techniques, which is what you feel afterwards, is like, grounded, centered, and then you're ready to sit down in meditation. And in the book, that there's like at the last rite is a meditation, and the meditation that I initially teach to people, like for instance, if I walk into a corporate situation and there's all these suits and they're too scared to take their socks off, and I just say to them, don't worry, you can keep your pants on, but just take your shoes and socks off, please, so they can sit on the floor. I mean, I like having a bit of fun with them, but because they freak out. But basically,
someone's got to.
Like, look, exactly. And we do a smiling meditation, and look, later on, if you like, I can take you through a smiling meditation for 2 minutes, and I just sort of say to them, okay. As I said, like, it sounds really easy, it sounds woo-woo, it sounds crazy, but just experience it. You just need to experience it, and that's it. And then you get a reference point. You know what you're looking for.
Okay. All right, cool. Are we going to do it?
Oh, do you want to do it now? Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
All right. Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
All right.
Do I need to take my shoes off?
No, you can take your pants off.
They're already off. That's my number one rule. Don't do it with pants on.
Okay. All right. Well, basically what you do is you sit up with a nice straight back, because it's really important that the back is straight, and you drop your shoulders and you just allow yourself to relax, and you close your eyes. Yeah, close your eyes. I'll have my eyes closed too, so I won't see your silly grin. And basically you just allow yourself to take a few really deep breaths in into your heart, which is just below the breastbone. And as you breathe out, just feel yourself relaxing, just relaxing deep and deeper. And we're going to do this fairly quickly. So what happens is you just gently smile. And it's like putting the cart before the horse. It's like when you're meditating very deeply for a very long time and you touch upon that bliss consciousness and that deep peace, what you find is that if you noticed it, you'd be smiling. And it's a very gentle smile. So you smile with your eyes. Okay. There's always distractions. So you're smiling. Are you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still with
You're
you.
smiling with your eyes. Yeah. And then you're smiling with your cheek, with your lips. And you just sit there smiling, and you don't necessarily think of anything joyous. In fact, a lot of the time when people first try this, the last thing they want to do is smile because they can only think of everything that's negative in their lives. I'm not going to smile because, I had a shit day at work, or, my mother died 2 years ago, and I'm not going to smile about that. But what you're doing is you're choosing joy. Just allow yourself to choose joy. And as you smile, what happens is that you release all these bliss bubbles, this energy of joy that is within you. And as you open up, and it expands your heart, and as you open up your heart, you're raising your vibrational field. And we also call this in yoga the joy center. So you're opening up your joy center, and it's exactly situated where your thymus gland resides. And your thymus gland is hugely responsible for the immune system. So just another moment, just simply smile with your eyes, your cheeks, and your mouth, just very gently with the corners of the mouth turning upward. And as you breathe, and as you notice yourself breathe into your heart. And just keep smiling, even if you don't feel like it. Okay, let's just now take a really deep breath in and breathe out. And then just gently open your eyes. That was a very quick version of it. How do you feel?
That's so cool. Happy?
Yeah, it only takes a few minutes, and it's choosing joy, even if you don't feel like joy. But even just doing that a few times throughout the day, even for a few minutes. I mean, ideally, the longer you stay in it, the deeper that you get, obviously. But
Yeah.
So when I do that at the end of a corporate gig, so I get everyone to smile, and they're sort of all looking at me, opening their eyes, and, some of them are just really embarrassed. And I said, close your eyes, smile, just smile, don't even feel it. And
Too
then
right.
afterwards, everyone's smiling. And in a corporate situation or any organisation where you're working with a group of people, guess what? They start getting on a lot better. There's
No
more
shit.
harmony.
Yeah.
There's more cooperation. Yeah, you've dropped the bullshit. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the idea
That's
of it.
beautiful. Okay, so
Yeah,
can we go back a bit and share a little bit
sure.
about your upbringing and your childhood and sort of what life was like back then for you before
Oh, look,
coming into this?
yeah, look, I had, a very miserable childhood with immigrant parents that came from Ukraine, Germany, and they were very damaged by the war. So even though I grew up in Australia, I went to school not being able to speak English, and I still struggled with English right up until I was at high school.
Okay.
Uh, yes. So my name then was Anjuta Neugebauer. So you can imagine in
And you're
Aussie
from
school that was
Bella?
a bit of a mouth. That's right.
Beautiful.
Luckily, when I'm luckily I became a Lewis, you know, married John, so that made it a lot easier.
Yeah.
um, I basically felt like I was in I don't know why I was in this family, and I was really distraught about it, which led me throughout my teenage years, like early teenage years. I went to so many churches seeking religion,
Yeah.
and then I came across, a book called The Third Eye, which explained reincarnation, and it just
What
made
were you
so much
seeking?
sense to me.
What were you seeking? Why were you seeking out
Oh,
religion, do you feel, to start with?
because I was trying to work out uh, the meaning of life. I mean, we don't have to suffer. Surely life is not all about suffering and then dying and then that's it. I mean, what is the purpose of life? You know, really, and I really
Yeah.
like, because I was suffering, which is perfect. You know, like the universe. I put myself in a perfect situation to propel myself. And yeah, so then I read this book, The Third Eye by Lobsang Rampa. It's a brilliant book. If anybody can get hold of it, it's just such a great story about a Tibetan monk, a Tibetan boy that grew up in a monastery and reincarnation. And all of a sudden, the concept of reincarnation, which I've never heard before, I think I was about 14 or 15, it was like, it makes sense. We suffer and
Yeah.
we evolve. So yeah, that's how I got basically started, and then I searched for yoga, and did all sorts of crazy stuff like seances, and just searched for that. And then when I was about 19, I met John, and he meditated, and oh wow, that was fascinating to me. Like yeah,
Yeah.
and he taught me a lot. And then I went off on my own. I had 3 home births, and we didn't immunise our children. We didn't celebrate birthdays or Christmases, or they were all brought up vegan. Oh, they're rat bags now, but we didn't make rat bags in the nicest way possible. It's like I remember when Jack got tattoos, and I went, "Oh my God, you grew up organically, and you're, tattooing your body now." But obviously, it's none of my business anymore.
Yeah. But it
And
still is.
parenthood teaches you to let go. You just have to let go. You can't
Yeah.
afford to go, "Oh my God." Yeah, yeah. So, there's a lot of things in between, but basically it's the stories are stories, and there could be a lot of interesting stories, or they might be really boring. To me, I don't identify with my stories. I know that they led me, but at this stage of my life, I'm definitely not my story. I'm not even this thing that's in front of this screen. But
Elaborate
uh,
on that, can you?
sorry.
Can you elaborate on
Well,
that for us?
yeah, sure. Well, basically, I feel that the way to live life is to identify more strongly with that you have within, rather than that which is without. So come from your heart, come from, the inside out, not the outside in. And, it's like when I started, I used to do a little bit of channeling. Not that I channel or anything like that, but it used to happen naturally in the yoga classes or in workshops, or when I'm working one on one. When you just tap into an energy, it's just there. And the biggest message is that you're divine. We are divine. And I know this is a new age saying, in a way, this was being said 30, 40 years ago. I was, saying it, and now people are saying it, and it's sort of become so new agey. It's a little bit irksome to me at the moment. But
Yeah.
essentially, we are beings of light. Well, actually, we're beacons of light. We are beacons of light. And if we like identified as being beacons of light, we'd act like beacons of light. But if we identified with the ego and the mind, well, that's just a maze of confusion and stress.
Can you go into
It's
that ego mind, and like can you more or as I know we're limited with the language that we speak, but can you, as clearly as you can put it, define the difference between that beacon of light and the ego mind as well?
Well, the ego is a tool, a very good tool that we have, and it's our identification. So it's your mind, it's your body, it's your personality. They're your emotions, and it's there to be a servant, not our master. And most of the time, with all of us, and we're all, we all do it. Sometimes we allow the ego to master how we live life, rather than allowing the heart, which is your observer, which is the real you, that's where the beacon is, to guide you, to guide the ego to, so you go, okay, if you're guided by your heart, go right or left. But if you're guided by your mind, you'll probably be sitting there thinking which way I'm going to go for the next 20 years and do nothing, for an example. So the ego is, to me, if I'm talking to people that are, to be user friendly, that aren't into the yoga terminology, I go, your mind's Google. Now, if you asked Google, who is God, I can assure, it can't come up with a lot of religious da-di-das, but it won't give you an answer. It's go within, and then you'll have an experience of who you are, and that is God. You can call it what you like. Everyone says that, but let's just call it God and not be afraid of using that word.
That's it. Yeah, 100%. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's but it does take time. It does take an investment to go within. It doesn't happen. People will say, and lie down, out in the grass, and I'll go, well, that's really lovely, but that's not meditation. That's connecting to the earth, and that's a really good thing to do. But meditating is going beyond the mind, and it's really difficult because a lot of people expect to straight away for the mind to be still, because the mind is still going to be chattering away. And what I say to people, it's where you place your focus. It's like you could be sitting down, and if you focus on a traffic noise outside, that's going to get really noisy. But if you don't pay any attention to it, like the chatter of the mind, and go deeper within, that's always going to be chattering. But bring your primary focus to that which is real, your heart. And your mind will wander off and you come back. It'll wander off and you come back. And you just keep on doing it. And don't put any pressure on yourself. Don't expect anything, and go into it innocently. There's an innocence in truth and in meditation, or in finding the truth. There's an innocence, which the ego is like.
It transcends right and wrong and good and bad and all the labels of the surface. So it really is that blissful innocence.
Yes, and it's to me, it's about, like, for me in my life, I'm, to the best of my capacity, consciously working at keeping my vibration high or higher, on a level where all my past shit and programming and the horrible life and all the things, disasters that happened in life, so-called disasters, now I see them as the greatest learnings. But to never assume that I've got rid of them. So this is where people make the mistake. When you start working on, and I hear this so many times, when people start working on themselves, like, I teach them the rights, and they start doing the rights, and they start feeling better, and they start feeling expansive. And then all of a sudden, they thought they got rid of this. Oh, I thought I got rid of this. We were, and And then 3 months later, smack bang, you know, the boyfriend walks across the road that she's just got over, and, you know, she's freaking out again. You know, the panic comes up, the fear comes up, the hatred, the jealousy, whatever it may be. And we can never assume that we get rid of stuff. I mean, where does it go? Where does this shit go? It's actually always there. It's about raising your consciousness, raising your vibration. So I sort of said to her, what did you do last night? And she goes, well, I haven't done this for ages, but I had a few drinks and a joint and had a late night. And I said, well, that's okay. There's no right and wrong about it, but you do lower your vibration. Because if your vibration was kept at a higher level, you would have seen your boyfriend. You can't change what's happening on the outside, but you wouldn't have bought into it. But because you lowered your vibration, because you were stressed, you were tired, you were hungover, it got you. So to me, it's about always keeping yourself hydrated, eating well, present as much as possible, observing all the time where your mind's at. Every time that you self-judge yourself, so what? It's only the mind giving you, it's only the ego giving you a hard time. If you ask yourself, well, does my higher self judge me? Even though I've been a total idiot? Of course not. Does the mind judge you? Yes. So who would you rather listen to? It's, you know,
Yeah.
who would you rather listen to? So,
We've got the
but
ultimate
it's
choice.
a constant. Yeah, but it's constant. It's a constant.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to be consciously, constantly aware all the time, and don't drop your guard, because when you do, you get smacked in the head, and it's perfect you get smacked in the head, because it's like, oh, okay, I
Time to
forgot.
learn. Yeah.
Time to unlearn and time to remember, you know.
Yes. So can you share some of
And
the
it's happened.
oh yeah, no, go with that train.
No, it's okay, I already forgot. I'm focusing on
Okay.
what you're saying.
This is your show. So can you share some of
No,
the
this is yours, yeah.
we are but the one. The tangible like health benefits that and mental and physical health benefits as well to meditating and going through this process of raising our vibration and our conscious awareness.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously there's so many benefits. It's unbelievable how many benefits there are. Um, like, you know, like physiologically, it lowers stress levels. I mean, it's your cortisone levels, your adrenals aren't pumping like crazy. It releases stress. It just depends how you're meditating. But if you're meditating properly, you're actually expanding from within. And so like it's like a tantric experience. Tantra meaning energy. Like I find that my spine is misaligned, then while I'm meditating a while, it goes crack, 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 crack. It realigns itself. I mean, this is not an uncommon thing to happen. Um, your perspective shifts. I mean, physiologically, it's like it's great for your digestion. You're fully oxygenating yourself. You're connecting with prana. Um, Generally, don't get ill. You know, it's, you know, like I mean, I've had things that, you know, definitely go wrong with me, but I can honestly say I don't get common colds and things like, I have, you know, twisted my ankle and done stupid things like that. But you're just healthy. You're like healthy, vibrant, and there's a joy in life. There's a joy in life. There's also, for me, the more that I meditate, a, I need quiet. I mean, I can be out there in a noise, but when I've been in a noise, I need to come back to quiet. I need to be with myself more. Um, you definitely have a greater capacity with people. Like you're just there, you're present, like you're really there, you can connect with that person. the more that you know yourself, the more that you can connect with that divinity, if you like, then you can see it in others, because this is where the oneness comes in. You know, I think we talked a little bit about that when I first spoke with you. You can just see it, and people aren't alone then. You know, like it's like in your family, and a lot of people actually feel very, very lonely, and there's so much stress because everybody wants to be seen. They don't necessarily, you know, they think they do. They don't necessarily want to be seen as being famous, although sometimes, you know, that's an outer manifestation of it. They think that they want that. That satisfaction doesn't last long. People want to be seen and heard for who they really are. People are looking for love when you can't find it in anything or anyone until you find it in yourself. And then it just is there. And this is
Can you
all
extrapolate on
through
that?
meditation.
I think that
About
notion
love.
of really, yeah. Well, how much time we got? Yeah.
Yeah, well, for a start, there's this idea that people think that they. I was talking to somebody today. I do a lot of phone sessions with people. I always, you know, make myself available if anybody's going through whatever. I'm here. I'm here on the phone. If I can't speak to you now, I'll speak to you. You know, I'll get back to you. And you know, sort of saying, "Oh, but I'm just so in love with this girl. Do you think she loves me?" And I went, well, this is coming from your need to feel loved. And I said, how can you possibly love when you are looking for love, when there's nothing to look for, but it's there within you. So you need to feel it within yourself first and
Yeah.
experience it, because love just is. It can't be attached to an object or a human. Like it was interesting because with our family, with the boys, you know, and I know it's such a common word, and it's like I love you. I don't say that to the boys. Never
Yeah.
did.
John was telling me about this.
Yeah, and well, John taught me, like when I was, because I got together with John when I was about 19, and I think I got married when I was 22, 21 or 22. And my mother was there, and I think we were having an argument because we were both egos, strong egos and headstrong. And I used to fight John tooth and nail. And because he tried to tell me how it was, and I'm going, well, no, I'll work it out myself, sort of thing. So ego, you know, we learned a lot butting heads.
That's the
And
best way.
but I hate to say most of the time he was right, which is really,
I can edit that bit out if you like.
I can no, it's true. It's actually true. He's a very wise man. But my mother was there, and he says, and she looked at him, and I was sitting there like fuming, and Mum said, "Come on, John," he goes, "you really do love Anne, you know." And he said, "No, I don't. I don't love her at all." And, you know, like you can imagine a 21-year-old or 22-year-old that's just got married, you know, to this older wise man. I could have killed him. And I was really like that was one of my biggest learning lessons, because then he explained to me that it doesn't change how I feel. He goes, but do you want me to love you? Do you want me to possess you? Because the greatest thing about when I was with John is that I could do exactly what I wanted to do. I mean, he was meditating and I was young and feisty, and he didn't want to go out with me. So I used to go out raging all the time. You know, and even when Sam
Yeah.
was little, he'd babysit and I'd go out dancing all night, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but it was cool, you know, like it was totally upfront. And you
Yeah.
know, so there was no possessiveness there. You know, I love you is like I own you. And I really understood it, that it's I and you, it's that separation, and it's that ownership. It's more likely that more truthful to say the love in you helps, the love and the light in you helps me to open my heart. Thank you, when you connect.
Okay.
So
Yeah, beautiful.
just to say you help, you help expand my heart. If you want to be my she, if you if you're a guy and you've got to say something, like, or or vice versa, like, because people that, and when I was that age, I needed to hear it every day, and I think John just got fed up with it and thought, I've told you 100 times already, and now I'm going to say, no, I don't, because that'll shut you up. And the truth is, let's look at the truth of the situation. So after sulking for about 2 months or something, I understood it. I understood.
Yeah.
So therefore we didn't introduce it to Sam or Jack.
Can you
Yeah.
help me understand with respect to like what love means in that term? Because I think what most people would be thinking is, well, if I feel this strongly about someone, that feeling that I'm getting is the love, and that's what I'm saying, like that person makes me feel that way. So, or something along those lines. But what is how would you define that? What you're speaking of when you speak of love?
Love is God. Love is a universal energy that you can't attach anything to it. So it's when, like, for instance, when two people first get together, there's that energy there, there's that excitement, there's that love there, there's that joy there, and that's pure, and this is before the ego comes in. So it's just that universal pure love that is an energy that is there. Then what happens in relationships is then the ego gets involved, and I and you, and look at anybody else, or all that sort of stuff comes in, and then they're still saying they love each other, and they're bastardizing the whole word. And what it really is I own you, I possess you, you do what I tell you to do, even though you probably wouldn't admit it. But that's really what you're saying. But if you can understand that love is just a universal energy that can't be possessed or attached to any object or anything. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I love it. And I guess the
So,
follow on would be how does that pertain to then relationships in this space?
in
Because
a
I feel
relationship
like
with friendships,
relationships, yes, because I feel like as soon as you cross that line, for people that are meeting each other, and there's that line where right now we've formed this relationship, we're putting this label on it. That's what I see as having this big barricaded walls of insecurities and fears be placed around two people all of a sudden because we've started to label things, and that's like largely ego driven. But yeah, like I don't know, how would you speak on that?
yeah, it is. Well, it becomes ego driven because what happens is when you open your heart, when you're in that first instance, when you meet somebody and you're not in a relationship as yet, right? And it's like, wow, you're talking all night, um, and there's a purity there, there's a love there. And then when you start to enter into a relationship, you conceptualize it, you put in a conditioned programming around what a relationship looks like, monogamy, or, which is fair enough. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, it's a choice. But then we start to get really scared because what happens with most people is they open their hearts and their ego kicks in and it's going, oh shit, I better protect myself here. So if he looks or she looks at somebody else, that's it. You know, I'm not going to allow for this. So all of a sudden they're just being spontaneous and everything's cool. And then all of a sudden these restrictions come in, these rules come in, and it cuts and it breaks the innocence. It filters the love. It's just not there anymore. But they've entered into this ownership thing, where that's the ego at play, and then you're battling and battling, and then a lot of people stay in a relationship a lot longer than necessary because they've come out of that phase and they keep on looking to get back to that honeymoon wow phase. And sometimes the
Yeah.
honeymoon period can last a very long time, which is lovely,
Yeah.
which is the longer it lasts, the better, because then you've got something to really, it's a great foundation. But I
Yeah.
think it's because we get scared. I think we get scared. We go, oh my God, I've been hurt before, or, all the things that we see around us. And as soon as you go into protecting yourself, well, you're giving the ego permission to start putting boundaries and resistances up. As soon as they're there, you've lost your innocence, you've lost your love.
Does that suggest there may be um, like aiming or working towards maintaining that spontaneity? It would be healthier than healthier than aiming for long-term stability and security and safety within relationship, which I feel one of the key drivers when finding partners in that long-term sort of situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that as soon as they enter into a relationship, they want it, and maybe it's more common with women, I'm not sure, because I think it is a little bit more common with women than men because they have this need for family and stability. Women have a need to feel safe, and men do have an instinctive need to feel to have freedom, right? And when a relationship, oh, I've sort of there's so many there's such a it's such a big question. Can you
You've got
can
2 minutes.
can you
No
give it to
jokes.
me again? Okay, no, you go.
No
Can you
jokes.
give it to me again, please?
So relationships, where am I going with it? Do you feel that it would be a healthier goal to aim for unique and authentic self-expression and spontaneity in life in general, which includes the partners that we hold, rather than aiming for the one or this family dynamic or this long-term stable relationship or whatever the sort of tangible things that are sort of associated with marriage and family and that traditional setup? Yeah.
I don't think it's either or, to be frank with you. I think that I think that when you meet somebody, for a start, you've got to be on the same vibrational frequency. You've got to be on the same page, on the same level, however you like to put it. And I sort of feel, because I'm not going to answer that because I can't compare one with the other,
Yeah.
and it's such an
Yeah.
individual thing. But you really need to take time. Like, I coach women in, there's a lot of really amazing, beautiful women out there that are looking for relationships, and there's a need. And the more of the need, the more they're needy, the more they push men away, and the more that they're needy, the more that they attract lower vibrational people, and obviously vice versa. And to me, it's like working on yourself that before that if you want a conscious relationship, if you want a relationship that'll help you grow, for a start, you need to be comfortable in your own space, comfortable with being on your own. You don't need a relationship to complete you. I just say to women, you don't need the other half. That's just a whole lot of crock. You only
Yeah.
need you, so you complete and be fulfilled on your own. And if you vibrationally are truly that, then you're going to meet that person that's comfortable with themselves, and then you can just enjoy each other and be
Yeah.
in the moment. Yes, all you can do is just be in the moment, and sometimes that's a little bit of a new age. Uh, a lot of guys I know that use that with women. Let's just be in the moment. In the meantime, we'll be intimate, but we'll just be in a moment. And this may not agree with a lot of people, but I say to women, don't be intimate straight away. Get to know each other, become
Yeah.
friends, take time. Everything is like I call it a microwave society. Everything's
Yeah.
instant. You know what a microwave does? It's toxic.
Mm.
Anything that's quick
Yeah.
and easy is toxic. You need time to build a relationship. You need time to get
Yeah.
to know each other. And then, as far as I'm concerned, this is like very along the tantric way of thinking. Your energies match. Like if you get to know somebody over 6
Yeah.
months, let's say, and you don't, you're not intimate, then you might find, you know what, I really like you, but I don't want to share my energy with you. I'm happy to share my energy with you on this level, but I'm not willing to completely be vulnerable and open myself up. Because
Yeah.
if you have the capacity to open up and be really vulnerable, you've got to be very discerning who you let in. And the longer
Yeah.
that you get to
Definitely.
know somebody, then you know that, and then you're less likely to get damaged. You know, so many people go into relationships, become intimate very quickly, then they're breaking up, and they just become damaged. And I just feel, oh God, you know, for the self-esteem, it's, you know, why do this to yourself? This is harming yourself. Honor yourself. So when you tap into your
Mm.
heart, you honor yourself, you know, and your
Yeah.
energies, and you know, you're discerning.
So I want to take it full circle as well, and it's sort of the paradox of life, or the strange loops of reality, where we start, no matter how far we go, we end up where we began, and it's like all the pain that we've gone through and the struggles and challenges that we've faced are ultimately our biggest lessons and teachers in life to help us continuously grow and evolve as well. So it's like, as much as you want to create these beautiful scenarios and situations, like just the attempt to avoid them as well is futile, because they're going to come through
Absolutely.
anyway
Yeah.
in one way or another. And when they do, like you said, resistance maintains that just
Creates.
what we resist persists. Yeah. So
Definitely.
I think it's touched on,
Except
raising our own vibration is where it's at.
I agree with that completely, totally. And there's no wrong thing to do. In saying that, I feel that we need to work with raising our vibration and make more conscious choices. I think a lot of suffering in the world is happening because we make unwise choices, and we go round and round and round in circles a lot longer than necessary. We don't need to suffer as much as we do. There's certain things that are out of our control when
Yeah.
people die and things like that. But
Yeah.
going from one relationship to the other for 10, 15, 20 years or whatnot, and still doing the same thing is madness. And that's what people do. It's a sign of madness. And in a lot of ways, you know, that's society. You know, we've gone mad. You know, we continually eat rubbish, do things that we know that aren't good for us, but we've lost discipline, we've lost discernment, we've lost honouring ourselves, just all those old values. And to get back to that, and that is education. It's like,
Yeah.
if you have children, educate your children around, you know, well, you can't educate them, live it yourself, and they learn through example,
Be
you
the
know.
example. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you share a bit about where you're at, what you're doing, and how people can connect with you?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm available for one-on-one sessions online. I do phone sessions. Obviously, people come I live in Avalon, beautiful Avalon in Sydney. And so people do come to me, obviously, local people, or, you know, people over the eastern suburbs. I do workshops. I haven't done one for a while, but I'm gearing up to do a workshop on the rights for life. And I don't know whether, can you see the book behind me? Because I can't see, I haven't got my glasses on.
No, I can't. Maybe they can.
Okay. No, I like, can you see the peace sign?
Yeah.
Just hang on a sec. Just hang on one sec.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, it was camouflage. I'm colorblind. That was just camouflaged into the wall there. I'm colorblind. That just camouflaged into the
Yeah.
wall.
Okay, all right. Well, look, that's basically the book, and I can't say it,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
it's people that do them. I've taught thousands of people, like literally thousands of people all around the world, and people that do them, they really, really help release stress. They open up your energy body, your chakras. The book gives you precise instruction how to do them, although I'm available if you get confused, but it's very simple. I'm available to re-enthuse you basically and to keep you doing them. And
Cool.
it explains everything about them. It leads to meditation. It talks about your chakras. It talks about your ego, your emotional body and all that. And basically what you're doing every day is you're doing a technique that initially only takes 5 minutes a day. It's first one is spinning. So you start spinning your chakras and expanding your energy field. And then you release. It's like dusting off every day. It's like dusting
Yeah,
off,
cool.
dusting
Yeah,
off, dusting off. So all the emotional debris and the garbage and all the blockages start to release, and it leads to meditation. So once you've done those, you actually still your mind enough to be able to sit in meditation, and just doing that simple. And there are 8 rights. You build up to them, but you can do the smiling meditation anytime, like we did before. And I've got a CD on it. Yeah, you can get it off my website, rightsforlife.com, which is RITESFORLIFE, right.com, and you can download the book, or you can buy the book as a hard copy, and there's a meditation CD there too, and I've just reduced all the prices. Yeah, so, but it's discipline. It's, like,
yeah,
it's discipline. Like, discipline is a Latin word. Do you know what it means?
yeah. Nope.
Of course not. Why would you? But oh, well, I'm just being cheeky here. It's it's a Latin word. It's a Latin word meaning disciple of life. So whether we are all disciples of life, and whether we like it or not, and it's about being a true disciple and getting in touch with your primary focus should be that which is within.
Hmm.
And and that doesn't mean to say that you can't be a human being and enjoy the ego. You can enjoy the ego. I do.
Oh yeah.
I don't try to kill
Hell
it.
yeah.
I don't try to. Pardon?
I was saying hell yeah. I've got to enjoy it at the same time. It's there for us.
Yeah, but just know that it's not you. It's not who
Yeah.
you are. It's a toy. It's fun. Don't get
Yeah, it
too
is.
don't get too engrossed in it, because it sucks you in. That's a little bit of a thing to be aware of. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing some of your wisdom. And people can jump onto your Facebook page, which is tagged in the bio, and also that'll take you through to the website to take a look at the book. Thank you, yeah, so much for joining me and for joining us, and to share your knowledge and wisdom with the network here. And I'm looking forward to catching up in person, and then having more conversations as well, because yeah, you got a lot to offer, and I love it. It's like the light and the dark at the moment. I'm wearing all black and you're in all white, and it just goes perfectly together.
Um, Even with the dark, you still light. It shines through. You shine
That's
through.
it.
But thank you. Look, thank you. This is my first time doing like a FaceTime thing, and it's not that bad, is it?
You're a natural.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. And thank you so much, and enjoy your journey. And yeah,
Brilliant.
and one day, did you get the book, by the way?
No, I haven't got it yet. I've been looking out for it.
Oh, all right. Well, when I'd love to see you do them, because you can take them with you overseas. You don't need anything, you just need your body. And if you do those, you'll have a lot of energy, and you'll be just
Okay, cool.
expanding, and you'll attract really, I mean, you already are attracting great things, but you'll attract just so much more. There's always more,
What I'll
isn't there?
do, yeah, what I'll do is I'll do them. I'll do lives about them, so people can actually watch it happen in motion. I'll put them on my YouTube channel as well. And so a bit of a shout out to you for people to get a bit of exposure on what it is and have a good look at it through my experience as well. So I'll do that.
Yeah, yeah, do them because I promise you, if you do those within a week, you'll expand in every single way possible.
I'm already a big boy, but
More
I'm
than
willing
what
to go. I'm willing to get even bigger.
you're, well, you'll take up the whole, it's just we we're all really small, really. We can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just eternally
Yeah.
out. Yeah. All right then. Thank you. All the
Thanks,
best to you, Matt.
thanks
Thanks,
guys for
thanks
watching.
for asking me. Okay,
My
lots of
pleasure.
love to you too, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye guys.